Alrighty, so now what we want to do is, because we've accepted our friend, we're friends now. When we go to our messenger, our friends, our inbox, our center tab, we want to see the friends that we're connected with, and then this is where we're going to be able to click on the user, and then we're going to jump into their message view. So we're going to make this list first, and we've got one friend, so we can fetch back a list. Yeah, so we've got one friend in the list, which is all we need. So we go to our friends screen, and we're going to build this out. And we need a friends list, similar to we had a requests list or request list. And we'll just set it to be empty for the moment so that we're going to do something very similar. We're going to clean this up. We're going to go to our requests, and we're just going to copy this whole thing from our requests. It's going to be super similar, and replace all that, and change our friend list. List, and our friend row. And we're going to make that friend row up here. And just return an empty cell. Now, make sure it's imported, and just some junk for the moment. Save that. We need to import a few things. First, the activity indicator, and we'll let IntelliSense do it for us. Same thing with empty. Up here, and view and flat list. Again, IntelliSense. Save that. Sweet. And no requests, which is what we expect to see, but we're going to change this because it's displaying here, it's empty, but we're going to change the icons. We're going to display the same as our tab, the inbox, no messages yet. Sweet. So we've got no requests, and then no messages yet, which is what we want. Now we're going to fetch that list of users. So we confirm that works, that's fine. And we're going to go use global, and we're going to fetch a function. We're going to put this friend list in our use global the same way that we had our requests. Save that, and go to our global. We're going to have a new section for our friends, which is going to be a pretty simple one. It's just only going to have, that. Save that. And it should be displaying a permanent loading. Yeah, because we haven't fetched anything yet. So in the same way, now socket, as soon as we connect, we sent this. We want to get our request list. We also want to get our friend list. Friend.list. Just like that. And then we'll refresh. And then as soon as that loads and connects, we should be able to see that here. See? We want the request list and also the friend list for both of them. That's what we want. So now we need to go to our API, and we need to implement that in our consumers. And it'll be at the top to keep things alphabetical. make this function. So we need to know which user, which we have access to. We want to get that connection, that user. Or the connections. So we want to figure out if this user is either the sender or the receiver, if this user is either the sender or the receiver of this connection. So whether we sent the request or they sent the request, they accepted it or we accepted it, doesn't matter. We're going to fetch all users using this OR. And only the ones that have been accepted. Yep. And we need to serialize. And we're going to make a new serializer called friend serializer. And it's a list, so many equals true, and then we send it back to ourselves. The source is friend.list. And data. Done this a few times now, should know it backwards. Save that, and our friend serializer, we're going to create that. So make sure we import it from our serializers and then go over to our serializers. And a new model serializer. Connection model, and the fields that we're after. We want the ID. We want the friend in question, not us, the other user. So if we were the requester, if we were the sender, we want to return the receiver, and if we were the receiver, we want to return the sender. I'm just going to call this friend, and we'll have to create a function to return that. We want a preview of the most recent message as well. And we want the time. So we want to know, when this connection last had some activity, whether it was accepted or whether a message was sent, anything like that. We're gonna work some magic with that in a moment. And so we're gonna need to make a new serializer method field for our friend. Yay, we have a friend. And also for our preview, and also for our updated. Actually, no, we don't need it. Our updated will be fine for now. We're gonna have to do some extra stuff later, but I don't want to, overwhelm you. We just want to get friend, and we're pretty close to the end now. We're definitely, more than 80% of the way through, I think. And it's all coming together now. So if we are the sender, we're going to need to add some additional context. So we come back to our consumers, and here in our friend serializer, we're going to have to add a little piece of information. We're going to pass in our user. We're going to pass in some additional context to our serializer, which we can do. And it's pretty easy to do. We just go context equals, and we can pass a dictionary with some extra, goodies in it. And so we can just say user, because that's all we want to pass, our user, and we'll make some room. We'll clean this up. So we're just passing our user here as some extra info. And then we save that, and then we can access our user in here. So we can just go self.context user. And if our user is equal to the connection.sender, then we're going to return, we've already got our user serializer, we're just going to return that same thing. It's going to be obj.receiver.data. And that's it. Well, that's it for the sender. Now we've got to do the, the converse or the inverse or whatever. If I'm the receiver, and we'll make that an L if I'm the receiver, then I want to return the sender. And then we'll put an else down here, and if there's a problem, we'll just print out an error, just so that we can see something's going on. Now our preview, we don't have any messages yet, so we're not going to be able to return an actual preview of an actual message. So we're just going to return just a string. That should be sufficient for the time being, just so we can display our list. And we'll save that. We'll go over to our server, make sure that it's running. It doesn't look like there's any errors. Now we will reload this, and then when we load, we should get our serializer with our friend. Oh, looks like we have an error. We do have an error. Okay, connections. Name connections is not defined. Line 81. 81, connections. Connections. Save. If you call it that, send me your resume. Cool. Friend list, returned nothing. That's odd. So this is the message that we received. And we should have a friend. In our data, it should contain something, but it does not. So we've made a mistake here. First of all, that should be an L if. But that shouldn't be our issue. We'll rerun it anyway. It's empty, shouldn't be empty. So when it runs this function, we're just going to print out our connections to make sure that we are receiving something. And we'll make it stand out. Let's print our list of connections. And we'll rerun. And we're looking for that. Oh, wait. So it's not returning anything. We'll go to our connections. We've got a connection here. Accepted is true. And we're logged in as the right user. So why is this not working? I think I know why. It's because I typed it out incorrectly. So this queue, the reason we used a queue is special query object is so that we could do this OR. So this is what we needed to do, not the rubbish that I just did. Okay, so refresh that. There we go. Okay, this is the data that we expected to get here. This is our friend list, which only has one object in it, and it's what we expected to see. So if one user sees Nick, the next user sees Nola. Okay, so we've got that working. Now we're going to go to our global, and then we're going to create a new response function, and we're going to update our friend list once we receive it. Response friend list, and go up to the top, make a new function. And should be as simple gets. It's just going to be set friend list, done. And then now, when it loads, we should have one item in our so key extractor that we took from our request list is still using that old one, which we don't want that. We're going to use the connection ID instead. So we go to our friends down the bottom here. This item is actually our serialized friend. So item ID, which will be unique. Use that, refresh. And look at this. Yep, we've got one item in our friend list, which is what we expected. And should have one here too. Yep. So now our inbox, our friend list, our chat list, whatever you want to call it, has one item in it. So now we're going to build out this row item. And come to our friends, and then we're just going to build out friend row. Place this. Should be able to take our requests row. Basically be able to take pretty much all of this. And save us some time. Copy that whole thing. And then we just got to change what we need to change. We need to import thumbnail. Make sure that's imported. And then this is not going to be sender thumbnail. It's going to be friend thumbnail. This is all going to be the same. Our text styles are the same, but instead of sender, again, it's going to be friend. And then our little preview message, that's going to be our item.preview. And this time thing here, we're going to just put 7 minutes ago for now. We're going to format that in a second. And this request accept, we can ditch that. We don't want that. Ugh. We can ditch that. Save that, and should be good. Look at that. That's our friend now. Really cool preview. That's the preview that we expected to see. Come back here. Again. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so we want to change this really cool preview, and also we want to format our time so that we have some we have a time that looks awesome. So first, our preview, we don't want to say a really cool preview. No, we don't want that. We just want to say, go to our serializers. If there's nothing, which there isn't anything yet, we're just going to say new connection. We're going to once we add messages, we're going to come back and we're going to basically add the most recent message as the preview. But if there's nothing, we're going to say new connection. And refresh that. That should work straight away. Sweet. Now this time, we're gonna format our time and make it look really, really nice. So we're gonna delete that, and we're going to create a function called format time and pass our item.updated. I'm going to come up the top, and we're just going to make a utility function that we're going to use. We might use it elsewhere as well. If so, we'll drop it, we'll put it in our utils or something, but for now we'll just, just make it here. Now, if our date, so we're passing it a date or a date time object, what we expect is a date time object. Oh, it's actually a date string. We need to turn it into a date, again. But if it's nothing, if it's not, if it's null, essentially, then we don't want to return anything. Well, we don't want to try and process this string because it will just, it won't work or whatever. So it should never be that, but we'll just put like a dash for now. And we need to get the current time, new date, which is just now, and we're gonna get the number of seconds and I'm pretty sure that's in milliseconds, so divide by that much. And if it's only been seconds since we, since the last activity happened, then we don't want to display a certain number of seconds or anything like that. We're just going to say now. Ugh. And like so. So if s is less than 60, then we're going to return now. Basically saying it's happened so recently, we might as well just say that it happened, now. And then if it was minutes ago, that means that s is less than 60 seconds times 60 minutes. And if obviously if it's seconds, it'll never reach here, if it's minutes. And then we'll be, as we go seconds, minutes, hours, blah, 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 we'll be eliminating, as we go. And then so for minutes, we need to compute the number of minutes. Divided by 60, and then we will return a formatted string. It'll be m minutes, m go. Now save that, and we'll put a default, just in case it says something like that. And then we'll refresh, and it should say minutes ago because it's only been minutes. Huh. Wow, that's odd. Hasn't been that long. Oh no, yeah, we did it like yesterday. Okay, yeah, okay, that's why. Well, in the last video, which for me was yesterday. Anyway. All right, so for minutes, then we're going to continue on. We're going to add years. And so I'm sure you can see the pattern forming. So 60 times 60 times, sorry, not years, hours. And so if it was less than a day, right, so if it was less than 24 hours, then we're going to do the same thing here, but hours. And it's going to be divided by 60 times 60. And it's going to be H. Save that. It's been longer than hours, it looks like. And next one, we'll do days. And then it's going to be multiplied by 7. So if it's less than a week, D, and then divided by a day. Save that. Yep, 1 day ago. So yeah, as I said, it was been, you know, I've got a hectic schedule, okay? And then we're going to do weeks, and then we won't bother with months, we'll just do years after that. And if it's been like 7 years, well, okay, you know, we don't need any more, like a better, more granularity than that. Weeks times 4 weeks, yeah, good enough. Times 7, and then we'll add one for years as well. But we won't even bother doing that. We'll just return it. So we're not going to do more than years. You know, just got things to do, bro. Years, y, and that'll be times times 4 times 12. Actually, it should be times 7 days times 3, 65 days. Yeah. So it's, yeah. That should make more sense. Anyway, and then 1 day ago. And now we've got our time. Awesome. Now when we click on this user here, we want to go into our messages view. And it's from our messages view that we're going to be able to send some messages. So we need to make this clickable. And so we're going to wrap our friend row in a touchable opacity. Replaced our cell. Yeah. Oops. Grab that without wiping out our cell. And then go up here. Shift it over. And then we're going to have to pass something annoying. We're going to have to pass our navigation as well, because we're going to, on press, we're going to create an anonymous function that is going to navigate to messages, and we're going to pass this item, which is going to be the connection. And then it's going, you know, when our messages screen loads, it's going to fetch the messages for that particular user. And it's only ever going to store one at a time. So save that, and we've got a messages screen here already. Yep. So I'm going to have to pass that navigation. I'm going to have to pull it out here. Save that. Then when we click on our user here, this is our messages. Yay! Okay, now we're going to build out this screen.